HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
Good evening, I'm LaDawn Davis. Breaking news this Sunday night. We're getting reports of a tragic plane crash in Grand Bahama that has claimed the lives of 9 people. Our coverage tonight originates from the Bahamas Faith Ministries Diplomat Center.
LaDawn, the leadership at Bahamas Faith Ministries, a pastoral board, carrying out perhaps their most difficult task ever to announce that their leader, CEO and founder of Bahamas Faith Ministries, Dr. Myles Munroe, died in that plane crash earlier this evening. Pastor Dave Burrows made the announcement.
Unfortunately confirm that there was a plane crash in Freeport, Grand Bahama this afternoon. The aircraft involved belonged to Dr. Myles Munroe, founder, president, and senior pastor of Bahamas Faith Ministries International, who was on board at the time, along with his wife Ruth Ann and Dr. Richard Pinder, senior vice president and pastor of Bahamas Faith Ministries. There were additional passengers and 2 pilots on board. We are not able to release further information on the other passengers pending notification of kin. This is the current extent of information we have at this time, and we are preparing a further update and press release within the next few hours once we have received additional information. We did have a service this morning. Dr. Munroe led the service this morning, and shortly after the service, he and the other passengers left for the airport, and their flight was scheduled to leave at 3 p.m. I'm not sure of the official time that the flight left, but it was scheduled for 3 p.m. We received notification sometime later. I don't remember the exact time, but it was probably around 5 o'clock that we received the first bit of information. We do have a number of persons in Freeport currently who were there for the conference, and we also have a church in Freeport. So our Freeport pastor and other members of the church were at the crash site, and they call us back to confirm exactly what had happened.
Now, on the inside, parishioners were no doubt in mourning. Our Janine Noel Ferguson has that angle.
Thanks so much, Clint. Now, scores of persons gathered here at BFM shortly after learning about what had happened. They just heard from the other pastors of the church who announced and confirmed that Dr. Myles Munroe and other church members did in fact die in that crash.
Words cannot express what we feel tonight, and the whole country is devastated because of what happened. Dr. Munroe has really impacted the Bahamas and I guess the entire world in such a way that I don't know who can fill the shoes. But it's a loss for the country. A
lot of the names are still not being released, but church members here were encouraged to stay together. They've been singing praises to God and praying all night. Now, Pastor Dave Burrows did tell them to stick together, not to listen to a lot of the hysteria that's being placed on social media, and wait for the next of kin to be notified in a lot of these situations. A lot of family and friends have gathered here. We're told that the church will be open throughout the night. The church will be open tomorrow, and there's also a special prayer meeting tomorrow evening, that's Monday, that will take place. Right now, we're hearing that another press conference or another update will take place. We know that Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Perry Christie, is also having a press conference on this, and we'll continue to bring you the latest.
We will have extensive coverage of this tragedy tomorrow. Our team from the Northern Service will also provide us with exclusive updates. Today, Bahamians are called on to reflect on the valiant struggle and sacrifice of the men and women who fought in the World Wars I and II for human freedom and justice. And on this Remembrance Day, tribute was paid to the surviving veterans for their courage and patriotism. It was a day of official commemorations to mark the Allied victory over Nazi Germany, the Axis powers, and Imperial Japan. Our cameras covered the observances, including the memorial service, church service, and wreath laying at the cenotaph. Oscar Adderley has the details.
Homage was paid to those Bahamians who fought in World Wars I and II Sunday. First to those buried in the Bahamas Veterans Cemetery during an intimate ceremony held by the British Legion's Bahamas branch at the Infant View Road site. The branch's administrator Adina Monroe explained the significance.
The veterans these days, they want intimate services for themselves, and I don't blame them because they're getting older, and the fanfare they try to stay away from, and they want the meaning of what they're doing to be cherished.
Then it was on to the annual Remembrance Day service at Christ Church Cathedral, where the Governor General, Her Excellency Dame Marguerite Pinling, Prime Minister the Right Honorable Perry Christie, Cabinet Ministers, government, opposition, civil servants, members of the Diplomatic Corps, uniform branches and service organizations, as well as family members of the war veterans gathered. Dean of the Cathedral, Reverend Patrick Adderley, talked about the ultimate sacrifice of service to others.
It is our hope that their commitment, service, and patriotism will never be forgotten. Remembering is a part of gratitude and a sense of our indebtedness. In observing this day, we are reminded that every generation must learn the lessons of the past and commit themselves anew to the cause of peace.
Immediately following the church service, there was a processional from the cathedral to the cenotaph, where a brief ceremony was held and wreaths were laid in tribute to the fallen veterans. Oscar Adderley, ZNS Network News.
And as we observe Remembrance Day, it is important to note that Bahamian women from as early as the 1930s played an integral role in the war effort. The College of the Bahamas has mounted an exhibition highlighting the role of the Brave 11, of whom there is but one survivor. The week-long exhibition is a history lesson to highlight the role of Bahamian women during the 1940s.
Patricia Thompson Goodrich, it's my hero.
Wendell Clark is the proud son of fallen World War II veteran and Exuma native Ruth Clark Goodrich, who not only answered the call alongside 10 others to help in the war effort in the late 1930s and early 40s, but penned their experiences in a book she authored, The Brave 11, now available for distribution. Today, the faces of those brave women are on display in the foyer at the College of the Bahamas as part of the Bahamas' branch of the British Legion special exhibition to remember these fallen heroes. Clark is pleased to see that his mother's hard work was not in vain.
As she told me, she was a nurse. They went over to Jamaica and to nurse the soldiers as they came back with their wounds and everything. And she spent some time over there. I think she told me she wasn't even old enough to go. She kind of lied about her age, and she didn't even get her father's consent. So that's how dedicated she was to serving there, and it's just an awesome story. It's about a time in this country that I just hope people don't forget about.
Coordinator Donna Moxie says this exhibition will give all Bahamians, particularly women, a better understanding and appreciation for what these women fought for in World War II.
I think it's very important because we ought to allow our nation and the young people to be aware of the many persons that stood for a good, loyal and representation of the Bahamas, and really wanted to know that whatever they had to do, they did it with their heart, and they had a love for this country, and they wanted this country to be well represented.
First Assistant Secretary for the British Legion branch, Adina Monroe, talked about the significant contributions the children of World War veterans continue to make in this country.
For Lady Zoe Maynard, to her daughter, the Attorney General. We sent a bouquet for her mother, being the only one alive in Nassau. And just to let her know that we appreciated the service that she did with all of our Bahamian women. We have Dorothy, Lorraine, Roberts Wisdom. These women, they produce a lot of good, solid, loyal Bahamian children. We have former MP Neville Wisdom, Keith Wisdom. These are the sons of Dorothy, Lorraine, Roberts Wisdom, one of the Brave 11.
Stay close, we've got more news on the other side of the break.
Though we send rockets to the moon and the stars, and though we make ships and planes that go very far, there's not a mountain that man hasn't climbed, but a brand new world he could never find. So, if you want a brand new world, you gotta have a brand new people. If you want a brand new people, you gotta have a brand new life. Oh, if you want a brand new life, you gotta have a brand new spirit. And if you want a brand new spirit, you gotta come to Jesus.